7 powerful questions that spark desire in women. Psychology of Attraction Explained. Old Stoic Wisdom. We are most alive when we're in love. John Updike. Ask a woman a question that stirs her curiosity, and she'll think about you for a moment. But ask a question that awakens her desire, and you'll linger in her mind long after you're gone. Some questions entertain, some create connection, but a rare few ignite tension. Emotional, sensual, psychological tension. These aren't overtly sexual, yet they stir a subtle fire within her. They whisper beneath the surface, flipping a switch in her mind, making her wonder about you even when you're miles away. Here are 7 powerful questions mastered by men who move with calm intention and deep awareness. These are the questions that plant intriguing thoughts in her head without ever uttering a single explicit word. Most men talk too much, filling silence with stories, achievements, or attempts at charm. But the men women remember, the ones who occupy her thoughts late into the night, speak sparingly. When they do speak, their words resonate deeply. This isn't about slick lines or rehearsed smoothness. It's about learning to ask questions that bypass her social filters, touching the part of her that craves something real, emotionally, sensually, intimately. The men who truly captivate don't dominate conversations. They listen. They choose their questions carefully. They speak with calm confidence, understanding how tension works. They don't need to shower her with compliments to show interest. One carefully crafted sentence is enough to make her imagine what it's like to be truly seen and chosen by a man like that. By supporting this channel, you're joining a movement, helping men unlock a magnetic presence that changes how women feel around them, even before anything physical happens. Like, share, and comment to keep this knowledge alive. You're not just helping yourself, you're helping men everywhere shed the need for approval and discover what authentic masculine presence really feels like. Number 1. If I gave you 5 seconds of freedom, what would you do with me? This question is like a drop of red wine on a white shirt. It catches attention. It disrupts the expected and invites her to step beyond the boundaries of polite small talk into a private, imagined moment where freedom is framed through your presence. This is not some cliched pickup line. It's an invitation to play, a subtle yet powerful key that bypasses her logical defenses and awakens the impulse lurking just beneath her courteous exterior. Too many men miss this entirely. They either play it safe, fearful of scaring her off with anything too bold, or they come on too strong, seeming desperate and frantic. But the man who asks this question calmly, with a quiet, amused confidence, as if he already knows she's intrigued but is under no rush, creates a memory she cannot forget. The brilliance lies in its contrast. On the surface, it's simple, even innocent, but the instant she hears it, her mind races to fill in the blanks. 5 seconds, freedom, you. It's suggestive, without crossing into overt sexuality, open-ended enough to invite a playful tease or a serious reflection, depending on how she feels in the moment. If she's feeling daring, she might flirt right back. If she's intrigued but cautious, she may laugh nervously or try to dodge the question. When that happens, you pause, hold her gaze steady, and let the charged silence linger between you. You're not pushing her. You're not demanding an answer. Instead, you're offering her a rare permission to explore a part of herself she usually keeps under wraps. A private, unfiltered impulse she seldom gets to acknowledge. This shift is subtle but profound. The attraction turns internal. It's not the touch or the proximity that sparks the flame. It's the liberation you grant her to envision something bold and unapologetically hers. Tone is everything here. You don't ask this like a man fishing for a fantasy. You ask it like a grounded, calm man, quietly amused by her reaction. Your energy says, "I'm curious what you're hiding. Show me if you dare." This transforms an ordinary moment into a vivid emotional memory. She won't recall the song playing or what drink she ordered, but she'll remember this question and the heat behind it, even if she never offers a direct answer. Sometimes she'll answer with humour. "I'd push you into traffic," she might say, laughing. You smile back, unshaken, replying in a slow, relaxed voice that signals you're enjoying her defenses as much as she is enjoying lowering them. This isn't a test, nor a trap, it's a spark. Once she associates you with emotional freedom, boldness, and playful unpredictability, she stops lumping you with the countless men who just want to be liked. Instead, you become the man who leads her out of her usual script. If she's brave enough to answer honestly, even halfway, you'll see it in the subtle language of her body, a deepened breath, softened eyes, a shift in posture. For that brief moment, her world tilts because you made her feel something rare: desire without demand, temptation without pressure, play without shame. This is the power of one carefully crafted question, delivered by a man who understands exactly what he's doing. It is not about manipulation, but invitation, an opening to a deeper connection grounded in respect and emotional liberation. As Seneca said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." Here, your preparation is in mastering the art of emotional invitation, and the opportunity is the freedom you offer her to be real, spontaneous, and deeply desired. Don't underestimate the effect of this question. Use it wisely, and watch how it shifts her perception of you from just another face in the crowd to a man who holds the key to a secret world where desire dances with freedom. Share your thoughts and experiences. How have moments like this changed your interactions? Join the conversation below, and let's explore together how a single question can ignite the extraordinary within the ordinary. Number 2. What do you think I'd do to you if no one else was watching? This question is not just a line. It's a slow fuse that sets desire alight in the deepest parts of a woman's mind. Unlike blunt advances or obvious provocations, it does not force attraction. It cultivates it quietly, inviting her to imagine a scene you have not even described. This is the genius of the question. It hands her the reins, making her the architect of a fantasy where you are the central figure. It's not a cheap trick or vulgar bait. When you say it with steady control, the calm intensity of a man who fears no silence, you create an emotional space for her to play out this scene entirely on her own terms. She becomes the director, deciding the setting, the tone, the mood, and most importantly, your role within this secret narrative. This subtle shift from her simply reacting to you to her creating an entire version of you inside her imagination is what transforms simple attraction into something far more profound. Imprinting. This is not just chemistry. It's a psychological mark that lingers beneath the surface, but the difference between amateurs and men who truly embody the principles of Stoic psychology lies in delivery. Your tone must be grounded and unwavering. No grin that betrays eagerness, no leaning in that signals desperation, no hungry eyes searching for approval. Instead, you say it slow, low, like it's an effortless thought that just happened to cross your lips, as if you're not challenging her, but simply floating an idea into the room. What do you think I'd do to you if no one else was watching? Then you say nothing else. You hold the silence. You let it linger, letting the weight of the question settle like a stone dropped in a still pond, rippling through her thoughts. Watch her shift in her seat, avoid your gaze, stare back, or nervously fidget with her hair. These subtle reactions are her mind wrestling with the invitation you just extended. And in that processing, your power grows exponentially. If she answers, it doesn't matter what she says. The content is secondary to the fact that she ventured into that intimate mental space with you. She used her imagination to invite you into a scene where she's vulnerable, playful, flirty, or raw. That openness reveals everything about her desire and trust. And if she doesn't answer, that's even more compelling. The tension builds, and your question becomes an echo that haunts her thoughts long after the conversation ends, replaying in her quiet moments, during showers, in bed, or when she's alone with her thoughts. You've planted a seed that doesn't just fade, it grows, deepens, and repeats silently in her mind. Because you haven't dictated what she should feel, You asked her to decide what you represent when all the social rules, expectations, and inhibitions vanish. That is one of the most magnetic and attractive spaces a man can hold. You are not the man who pushes, demands, or seeks permission. You are the man who creates an emotional vacuum, a charged space where her desire can grow precisely because you trusted the chemistry enough not to control or force it. This is power in its purest form, and it is rare. Most men are afraid of silence and the unknown, but you embrace it. You understand that desire is not about domination or performance. It's about planting an idea and letting it bloom in her mind. When she finally responds, or even if she simply reacts silently, you don't overreact. You don't lean in or try to fill the silence with words. Instead, you nod subtly, holding your ground, showing her that you always knew there was more beneath the surface. This moment becomes one of the most intimate experiences she's had in a long time, not because of physical touch or explicit conversation, but because of the emotional connection that grew silently between you. Number 3. What part of your body responds first when you're turned on? This question is not just bold, it's a masterstroke of psychological seduction. Delivered with unwavering stillness, zero rush, no smirk, and absolute calm, it shatters the usual flirty noise and commands attention like a whispered secret. Only she is invited to hear. Why? Because it bypasses superficial chatter and pulls her deep into her own body without a single touch. Think about that. One simple question redirects her entire focus away from the clutter of words, opinions, distractions, and onto her own physical sensations. Not emotionally, not intellectually, but viscerally, sensually, privately. You are not asking about sex, not probing preferences or fantasies. You're inviting her to explore her own innate response to desire, her body's first language. This is power, because most women have never been asked this. They've been ogled, complimented, perhaps objectified, but rarely ever spoken to about their internal truth, their authentic physical awakening. That's where the real connection lives. That's what makes this question feel intimate, personal, unique. When you ask it, don't expect a rapid reply. She will hesitate. Her eyes may dart away. She might smile, challenge you, or deflect with a laugh. This hesitation isn't resistance. It's curiosity mixed with vulnerability. And that's exactly what you want. You're not pressuring her. You're gently waking something she seldom allows herself to notice. The way you ask this is crucial. Your tone must be low, deliberate, nonchalant, like casually inquiring about her favourite wine, not chasing an erotic reaction. You give her permission to decide if she trusts the moment enough to engage with you on this new, quiet level. When she does answer, whether it's my neck, my breath, my pulse speeds up, or my thighs, do not celebrate or validate her response. Instead, stay centered. Nod slowly. Let her words settle like a soft echo in the air. Perhaps repeat them in a whisper. Your neck. That's all. The unspoken energy between you carries the weight of meaning far beyond any words. What happens next is subtle, yet transformational. She begins to feel her own arousal, not because you forced it, but because you expertly guided her into her own awareness. That awareness becomes irrevocably linked to you. Your voice, your gaze, your calm control. Every time she notices that part of her body responding afterward, even when alone, your question echoes in her mind. You have planted a body memory loop, a neurological imprint connecting her desire to your presence. This is far beyond mere liking or pleasant conversation. Her nervous system is now wired to associate you with physical stimulation, with something deeply primal. You didn't touch her. You didn't even flatter her. You wielded something far stronger, the power to activate a hidden emotional trigger. Few men have the patience or maturity to engage. You held the moment with the quiet authority of a man unshaken by feminine energy, one who welcomes it and lets it unfold on his terms. This is the wisdom of the Stoic playboy, the man who understands that seduction isn't about chasing immediate reactions, but about igniting desire slowly, naturally, without pressure or desperation. When you ask this question, you don't just create tension, you create a trigger. If you stay calm, grounded, and allow her to fill the space between you, she will begin to crave your presence without fully understanding why. Because the very first part of her that responds, her primal, instinctive self, has just been claimed by your energy. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts." Your calm, deliberate question colours her desire with an intensity that lingers, that grows. Don't settle for surface-level flirtation. Don't chase cheap thrills or hollow validation. You must command the space with unwavering confidence. This is not a game for the timid or immature. This is a playbook for the man who refuses to be ordinary, who demands to be remembered, who rules his world with quiet power. Ask the question. Hold the moment. Let desire bloom in silence, and watch as she moves from curiosity to craving, from hesitation to hunger, from acquaintance to obsession. That's not seduction. That's mastery. If you're ready to own your power, drop a comment below with "I'm ready" and subscribe for more real, no-nonsense insights that will transform how you connect with women. Don't let this knowledge slip away. This is your moment to rise, to conquer, to lead. Number 4. What's the one thing you're always drawn to in men? This question isn't a casual inquiry. It's a scalpel cutting through the surface, stripping away the performance and the masks, reaching straight into the hidden patterns etched deep within her psyche. Every woman carries this pattern, an unconscious emotional imprint that repeatedly pulls her toward a specific type of man, a desire blueprint shaped by past experiences and longings she may not fully understand herself. When you calmly, directly ask this question, you aren't simply fishing for a list of traits, you're inviting her to reveal a truth most men either overlook or fear to confront. At first, she'll likely offer the socially acceptable answers: confidence, humour, ambition, as if these words are armour to protect her real feelings. But here's where your power lies. Don't rush to fill the silence or dismiss her first answer. Hold your gaze just a moment longer and softly challenge her with, "Really?" That's the first thing. Watch as a subtle shift happens. The smile, the flicker of eyes away, the pause, signs that the real answer is surfacing, one rooted not in logic, but in longing. Perhaps she's drawn to men who don't rush, to the quiet strength of calm in a man's silence, or the way some lead moments without a word. When she names this, she's not just describing others, she's describing what she desperately wants to feel again. This is where your real power begins. You don't ask this question to mimic or pretend to be that man. You ask because the more she reflects, the more she mentally connects that pattern to you. If you are grounded, if you already embody even a fraction of what she's describing, her attraction ignites instantly, invisibly, irresistibly. The question forces her into emotional memory. Her body recalls, her breath changes, her stance softens or sharpens. She is no longer neutral but emotionally engaged. Most importantly, you don't scramble to fit her mold or adjust yourself to her words. You stand firm, holding your center. You let her feel the tension between the ideal she describes and your steady presence. Sometimes, the most magnetic move a man can make is to simply listen without altering who he is, to receive her answer fully. The man who doesn't feel the need to become what she wants is often the very man she ends up desiring the most. This question also opens a door for a subtle yet profound follow-up. Do you think that kind of man notices you the same way? Ask it not with arrogance, but with calm stillness, like a mirror held up gently. Suddenly, her desire transforms into self-reflection. She wonders not only what she wants, but whether she feels worthy of the kind of man she just described. That's when emotional tension deepens, when you transcend the role of mere conversationalist and become a reflection of her deeper, unspoken desires. This is the moment that lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends, where psychology meets desire and ancient wisdom whispers through every pause. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts." You must embody the essence of that calm confidence and silent strength, not chase it. Real attraction is not about performance. It's about presence. Don't pretend. Be real. Be grounded. Ask the questions others won't. Hold space for the answers no one dares speak aloud. And then watch as desire, that silent force, moves naturally toward you. And if you find today's content very interesting, please give me a word of encouragement by commenting "very interesting" in the comment section. That is a huge motivation for us. Thank you. Number 5. If I knew the real you, what would surprise me most? This question is not just another line. It's a powerful tool that most men never dare to use because it strips away the superficial and demands something deeper. It asks a woman to reveal her mystery, not her performance. Society trains us all to present curated versions of ourselves, carefully edited and safe for public consumption. But this question penetrates that veil. When you ask this, you're not requesting a list of hobbies, job titles, or interests, the typical small talk that fills awkward silences. Instead, you're inviting her to share the hidden facets of herself, the parts that usually stay locked away because they are too raw, too personal, or simply not understood by others. This is where true attraction is born, not in surface-level chemistry or rehearsed stories, but in the thrill of emotional authenticity and the profound feeling of being truly seen. Most men get stuck in safe, shallow conversations, but when you cut through that noise and genuinely seek her unique truth, something electric happens. She doesn't just answer your question with words. Her body responds first. Her eyes might flicker with hesitation or recognition. Her posture might shift. Her breathing might change. This physical reaction signals that you've touched on something meaningful, something beyond the ordinary. You are offering her a rare and valuable gift, the permission to drop the social script she wears every day and show you a piece of herself that few get to witness. That permission creates a powerful emotional shift, the space between safety and surprise, where desire actually lives. Desire isn't found in the facts she shares or the stories she tells. It lives in the emotional dance of vulnerability and intrigue that this question unlocks. How you ask this matters just as much as what you ask. This isn't a time for nervous smiles or light laughter that diminishes the moment. Instead, maintain a calm, steady tone. Look at her, not with curiosity alone, but with the quiet confidence of a man who already senses the answer and is simply offering space for her to confirm it. This stillness, this silent command of energy, is what amplifies the question's power. You are not merely curious. You are leading the interaction with an unspoken assurance that it's safe for her to share something true. She might pause, unsure at first, perhaps tilting her head as she considers whether to play it safe with a superficial answer or take a risk and open up. Either response is acceptable. Your role is to resist the urge to rush in with your own words or to break the silence prematurely. Hold your gaze steady and allow the silence to grow, stretching between you like an unspoken invitation. It is within this quiet space, this emotional exposure, that her mind begins to race. She starts wondering what you see in her that others don't, what piece of her she's revealed that's too real to share casually. The moment a woman begins to question what you perceive beneath her surface is the moment you've stepped fully into her inner world. That is your goal. Not to dazzle her with clever lines or grand gestures, but to create a space where she feels safe and even proud to show you the parts of herself that feel hidden or vulnerable. This is how tension and desire are built, not through pressure, manipulation, or games, but through the emotional permission delivered by a man who commands presence without needing to raise his voice. In today's world, where social interactions often feel rushed, superficial, or scripted, this approach is a breath of fresh air. Women are constantly bombarded with shallow questions and fleeting interactions that never scratch the surface of who they really are. By asking a question like this with steady confidence, you disrupt the usual pattern and invite something deeper. This is not just about attraction. It's about connection, authenticity, and respect. You must understand that real desire grows from emotional resonance, from the feeling that someone sees and values your true self, not just the polished exterior you present to the world. So when you ask this question, do it with the mindset of offering her a rare gift, the opportunity to be real, to step off the stage and into the quiet room of genuine interaction. That space is where true intimacy begins. Be patient. Don't rush her. Let her feel the weight of your question and the safety of your presence. In doing so, you become a man who doesn't need loud words or grand actions to command attention. Your quiet strength and emotional leadership become irresistible. Number 6. Would you rather be understood or devoured? This is no ordinary question. This is the razor's edge of attraction, a question that cuts straight through the surface to the core of her deepest romantic conflict. It's not a casual flirtation or a shallow game. It's a mirror held up to her soul, revealing the fierce tension between her two most primal cravings: to be cherished, safe, and deeply understood, and to be ignited, claimed, and passionately devoured. Every man who masters himself and commands presence knows this truth well. Women carry within them this dual fire. On one side, the craving for emotional sanctuary, the desire to be seen and known for who they truly are. On the other, the hunger to be taken with power and intensity by a man who does not lose himself in the act, but stands firm, offering both safety and raw, unyielding passion in the same breath. This question places that tension in front of her with a quiet, potent force, like a candle's flame flickering steadily in the dark, inviting her to own both the tenderness and the hunger inside her. How you ask this question defines the entire interaction. You don't smirk or raise an eyebrow. You don't flirt or pander. You ask with absolute stillness, with unblinking eye contact, with a voice steady and unyielding, a tone that neither pleads nor wavers. You ask it like a man unafraid of either answer because you already understand the gravity of both. When you ask a woman, would you rather be understood or devoured? You're not just tossing out a question. You're handing her the reins to reveal how she wants to be led. If she says, understood, don't recoil or try to over-explain. Simply nod, affirm with calm authority. That makes sense. Most people never take the time to hear what's left unspoken. In that moment, you become her sanctuary. She knows she can relax, be vulnerable, and open up emotionally without fear. But if she says, devoured, your smile shifts subtly. No arrogance, just a knowing acceptance. Good answer, you say, letting the silence linger just long enough. Not everyone dares to admit their fire. Now she knows you're fearless in the face of her intensity. She can bring the full force of her passion, and you will not retreat. She feels invited, empowered to be all of herself, wild, fierce, and unapologetic. But the real power unfolds when she hesitates, when she can't choose, when she whispers, "Can I choose both?" That is the moment the room changes. Her eyes soften. The energy shifts. You lean back, steady and confident, and say, "That's where things get interesting." You've just voiced the paradox she lives with, but rarely admits aloud. And that truth, complex, raw, and unfiltered, becomes linked to you, not through manipulation, ego, or force, but through emotional mastery and presence. This is no trick. This is profound depth. A man who can speak directly to a woman's internal contradiction transcends simple attraction. He triggers emotional fusion. He doesn't just become desirable, he becomes unforgettable. She won't mention this question to her friends verbatim, but she will speak of you, the man who made her feel seen, challenged, and safe all at once. That combination is rare, primal, addictive. This question doesn't simply spark desire, it anchors identity. It tells her she can bring her entire self to you, the woman who wants to be seen and the woman who wants to be swallowed whole. You don't need to play games. You don't need to fake intrigue or pretend vulnerability. You just need to ask one question and hold her gaze while her heart decides which truth she will reveal. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." You give her that why to live, an invitation to be fully herself. Be the man who commands presence with clarity. Be the man who does not fear the fire or the tenderness. Be the man who leads her into the depths where real desire lives. This is power. This is mastery. This is how you win. Now, if you feel this truth striking a chord in you, don't hold back. Comment, "I choose both," and subscribe to own this knowledge. Your journey to becoming unforgettable starts with one powerful question. Don't wait. Ask it, own it, master it. Number 7. Do you believe in tension that doesn't need words? This question isn't about provoking a response. It's about inviting recognition. It acknowledges something already alive between you, a subtle hum, a charged silence, a pulse beneath the quiet, and gives it a name. You're not trying to impress her, you're holding up a mirror for her to see what she already feels. Do you feel this too? Most men never reach this moment. They fill silence with words, jokes, nervous chatter, desperate to avoid what's unspoken. They never learn to trust the power of stillness, the weight of a breath held too long, or the heat that builds in the space between glances. But you do. When you ask this question, you aren't testing her. You're guiding her gently and confidently into a state of emotional and physical awareness, where her mind ceases its endless chatter and her senses awaken fully. This is the moment that creates real attraction. Every woman has experienced this silent tension at least once in her life. It's familiar, yet mysterious. When she senses it again, especially around you, she doesn't know if she should explain it or run from it. By asking this question, you give her permission to accept it. And she will. Whether she answers yes, nods subtly, or says nothing at all, her reaction is real. Because this tension isn't meant to be solved or fixed. It's meant to be felt, deeply and slowly, breath by breath, glance by glance. Imagine sitting close, not touching, not speaking, and yet everything between you feels electric, alive. That's the moment that sears itself into her memory. It's never the words that captivate, it's your presence, your patience, your emotional maturity. Most men rush to fill tension with noise, fearful it will vanish if left alone. You do the opposite. You let it linger. You feed it only with calm, steadiness, and the quiet power of being the flame, not just the spark. When you ask this final question, she realizes you're not performing, you're feeling. You see what others overlook, and that's exactly what draws her to you. You perceive the invisible, name the unspoken, and make her feel something authentic in a world drowning in superficial noise. This isn't a closing line or a trick to seal a deal. It's a gateway to deeper presence, richer chemistry, and a connection that lingers in her body long after the moment fades. Once you've asked it and held the silence, she will feel it. She will remember it, and she'll know she's never felt that with anyone else before. You have been given the blueprint, not for charm or manipulation, but for genuine psychological impact. You now understand how a few well-chosen questions, delivered with control, presence, and masculine calm, can awaken something deeper in a woman than compliments, small talk, or flashy performances ever could. This is not about game. This is about awareness, about knowing when to speak and when to hold silence, about asking questions that don't seek to entertain, but to ignite her imagination, about becoming the man whose energy speaks louder than words ever could. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, "Invisible threads are the strongest ties. Learn to recognize and honor those threads. Harness them. Don't rush the moment. Master it." Now take this knowledge into your real life. When you find yourself with a woman, don't be afraid of the silence that falls between you. Lean into it. Let your presence fill the space. Trust that this unspoken tension holds more power than any rehearsed line. It's in this quiet, electric space that true desire is born. Your mission is to cultivate that awareness every time you're with her. Share your experiences. Have you ever felt this wordless tension? How did you respond? Comment below, and let's discuss the moments when silence spoke louder than words. Let's recap the 7 questions playboys ask. If I knew the real you, what would surprise me most? What's the one thing you're always drawn to in men? If I gave you 5 seconds of freedom, what would you do with me? What part of your body responds first when you're turned on? Would you rather be understood or devoured? What do you think I'd do to you if no one else was watching? Do you believe in tension that doesn't need words? Each of these questions isn't about the answer. It's about the space they create, the invitation they represent, the reflection they trigger. They turn you into a psychological experience, not just another guy she met. Because the men who create unforgettable tension don't just speak. They lead, they hold, they guide, they ask things that touch something beneath the surface. And when you learn to do that, you don't chase, you don't convince, you don't compete. You simply become the man who asks the right question and lives in her mind long after the night is over. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, that tells me one thing. You're serious about growth. You're ready to shift your mindset, tap into a deeper understanding of attraction, and walk a path of silent, unshakable power. So right now, drop the word unstoppable in the comments below. Let me see who's truly committed to this journey, who's ready to step into a new level of presence and confidence. This isn't about quick hacks or tricks to fool anyone. It's not about shallow tactics or empty lines. It's about transformation from the inside out, understanding the psychology of attraction, harnessing the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, and becoming the man who commands respect simply by being himself. If you found value in what I shared today and want more content that's grounded, real, and rooted in Stoic principles, show your support by hitting that like button. It tells me you want to keep going deeper, building a foundation that no fleeting trend can shake. And if you're serious about creating a version of yourself that women sense long before you even say a word, that kind of magnetic presence, then subscribing is the next step. You'll get ongoing guidance to build that silent power every single day. Now, think of one man you know who's still stuck in his head, caught up in doubts and overthinking, struggling to step fully into his presence. Share this video with him. Because this message, this path, is for the man who's ready to break free from the noise, who's ready to connect authentically without performing, attract without chasing, and lead without losing himself. By supporting this channel, you're not just helping it grow, you're becoming part of a movement that's helping men worldwide rise up, discover their inner strength, and rewrite what it means to be attractive and powerful. You're helping bring this message to men who are ready, truly ready, to become the best version of themselves, not by trying harder, but by being more grounded, more present, and more authentic. So if what you heard here spoke to you, don't keep it inside. Speak it to someone else. Share this video, support this mission, and carry this energy forward. Because this isn't about becoming a player or some surface-level charmer. It's about becoming a man who leaves a lasting impression. A man who is remembered not just for what he said or did, but for the undeniable presence he brought into any room. Thank you for showing up, for committing to your growth, and for walking this path with me. Keep building that silent power, keep growing in wisdom, and keep becoming the man she'll never forget. I'm honored to be part of your journey. See you in the next video.